On the News Hour tonight, stakeholders advocate reduced dependence on borrowing as Nigeria struggles to fund critical sectors of the economy. Local bread producers in Kano shut down operations over cost of production. And bandits collect 8.5 million naira, demands 2 motorcycles again to release victims kidnapped from Buari Area Council. And on the international scene, UN estimates 17,000 Gaza children left unaccompanied as war on Gaza rages. Hello there and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. We begin tonight's bulletin with the state of the economy as the nation grapples with a crucial challenge as a substantial 80% of its total revenue is allocated to debt servicing, a concerning trend that has continued since December 2022. This financial strain intensifies with a significant decrease in federal funding for crucial sectors, particularly health, which witnessed a decline from 5.97% in 2012 to 3.39% in 2019. In this report, Dorcas Yakubu examines Nigeria's fiscal policy direction and its impact on the economy.
According to data from DataFight, the health sector allocation marginally improved to 5.7% in the 2023 budget. However, the education sector faces consistent challenges with only 6.47 trillion naira allocated over 7 years. The highest education allocation was 745 billion naira in the 2019 budget, but subsequent years saw a decline, reaching 5.4% in 2022 due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant debt crisis.
Today, 98% of our income is what we're using to service debt. What remains of our income is just 2%. And so what would that do for us? All right, we have a budget for 2024, a federal budget of 28 trillion. And our revenue is not up to 10 trillion, it's about 10 trillion or thereabouts. Okay, and then we are using 98% of that, for instance, to service debts, and we're just left with 2%.
The debt to GDP ratio has breached the self-imposed limit, standing at 45.4%, while the debt servicing to revenue ratio has reached 73.5%, surpassing the recommended 50% threshold. These unsustainable public debt level necessitates a reassessment of government spending and revenue generation.
It's very unfortunate we live in a society where a government will spend money and nobody will account for it through this auditing process. If you look back at the audit reports for the couple of years, there are funds that have been paid directly into people's purses, mismanaged for several reasons. But nobody is asking those questions. Nobody is demanding accountability. That's where I question That's where I question the anti-corruption agencies on the work they need to do.
Stakeholders are advocating tax incentive administration, regular audits, and reduced dependency on international and private creditor borrowing to end the fiscal crisis. They stress the urgency for government attention to the health and education sectors to facilitate nation building.
If government is able to educate the citizens, the government will not worry itself about job, because when people have the knowledge, the skill, they can be able to on their own to source for job.
Tax expenditure is revenue forgone by government, revenue that should have accrued to government that they've given off as incentives to encourage establishment of businesses within the country. But the governance process for tax expenditure is done in such a way that it shortchanges government rather than bring the benefits that tax expenditure brings to other nations.
The Nigerian government stands at a pivotal moment in economic management. Through strategic policy adjustments, enhanced transparency and responsible fiscal practices, it can navigate these challenges and set the course for sustainable economic growth and stability. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
To cost of living now, Nigerians are grappling with the detrimental effects of the soaring cost of food commodities like maize, a staple food for most households in northern Nigeria and a vital raw material for poultry feed production. Well, in Gombe State, the soaring prices mean businesses are struggling to open and families cannot afford to make ends meet, as Hassan Lawan reports.
Maize, a fundamental grain in Nigeria, holds a significant place in daily diets and poultry-related industries. However, the current exorbitant price is placing a heavy burden on local income earners, particularly those heavily reliant on maize for daily sustenance.
Nan kusa 2017 kawai ina gani akwai lokacin da na sai buhun masara biyu a matsayin naira 14,000.
In 2017, I bought 2 bags of maize for 14,000 naira, and as of now, I have to buy for over 1,000 naira. The unfortunate aspect is that my income is not growing to meet the current economic condition, because as a tailor, if you can't get 5,000 naira and above daily, it is difficult for you to feed an entire family of 3 or 4. And most of us manage only 1 meal daily. In fact, the condition is terrible, and we are asking for government support. Traders of poultry feed and poultry owners in Gombe are also feeling the pinch, with maize inflation impacting their profits and threatening their livelihoods.
If you look at the price of the maize now, it's almost 50,000. And it affects our business of feed, which was 9,000 before, and now it is about 15 to 16,000. We need some support from government and other agencies to help us in order to improve our business, because it's already start collapse.
The price of maize has negatively impacted our poultry business. We are earning only 1/3 of the profit we used to earn. Now our little profit also goes to poultry feed, and our business is not growing at all for now. For maize traders like Muhammad Tukur, the situation is dire, with diminishing capital and an impending collapse of their businesses. The situation is worrisome. We are indeed running at loss. If you buy a bag of maize today for 50,000 naira and sell it to customers, you have to match the profit and capital to be able to buy another bag for tomorrow, because it will for sure increase. We are suffering. Our business is on the edge of collapse. The government must intervene to save us all. Despite the usual expectation of cheaper farm product during this time of the year, the price of maize is expected to continue to rise. The World Bank says Nigeria, along with other African countries, has been significantly impacted by domestic food price inflation. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And away from Gombe northeast to Kano, northwest Nigeria, where gurasa processors in the state are protesting over the hike in the price of flour and other ingredients. They say they are embarking on an indefinite strike until the market becomes favorable. Authorities concerned do something about it. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Gurasa is a locally made Arabian bread and is processed across many parts of Kano State. Made from flour, gurasa trade is mostly carried out by women. But recently, the price of flour is radically on the rise in Kano. According to these traders, the price of flour, which is their major raw material, is too high. Hence, they need to voice off their concerns. It is unfortunate that for the last couple of months, flour has become a hot cake. It is the only raw materials that we use in producing this gurasa. But right now, there are so many people who cannot afford to buy even one bag. Gurasa is one of the fastest food in Kano, consumed by mostly the less privileged members of the society. But these people say unless something is done to address the situation, they will shut down operation indefinitely.
Wannan gurasa fi sabilillahi da dai man alhamdulillah ba abinda ba ta mana ba, amma yanzu muna cikin tsadar rayuwa wanda mun.
We are actually appealing to government to find a way of subsidizing the price of flour, sugar and other ingredients that we use in processing the gurasa. You know, this gurasa is consumed by the less privileged people. And now if we didn't produce it, people from all over northern Nigeria comes here to buy gurasa. But very soon, we are going to stop if the government did not do anything.
To alhamdulillah yau mun wayi gari da wani irin yanayi
You see, so many of our members are calling on us to embark on indefinite strike. And we are considering that probably in the next coming days or weeks, we may decide to shut down operation indefinitely since we don't have any other alternative to this problem. With the continued rise in the price of flour, sugar, and other ingredients, gurasa processors in Kano are therefore worried that their businesses will likely crumble in the coming days. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And in Bauchi State, federal and civil servants in the state are expressing growing concern over what to expect from the tripartite minimum wage committee charged with the responsibility of reviewing the national minimum wage, highlighting that the solution to the current economic crisis lies in the price control of goods and services. Adamu Imam has more on the details.
In an interview with Trust TV on the developments regarding the salary and wages of Nigerian workers, civil servants in Bauchi State are voicing their displeasure over the poor state of affairs. The civil servants stressed that the current economic situation in the country has made it difficult for Nigerians to meet their everyday needs due to rising inflation.
Because if we compare with the former they did to now, our salary will not take us 2 weeks at least. Our problem to pay school fees to our children is too hard.
The 30,000 minimum wage as of now, if you consider the things and the commodities in the town, if you consider it, cannot take you just 10 days. At least we are hoping the minimum wage.
Meanwhile, for individuals like Salahu Hassan and Mama Rashida, they want to see the president take proactive steps to address the concerns of Nigerians with urgency.
Because anything that affects the workers indirectly or directly can affect the masses. Because everybody has responsibility, has relatives and others.
Because workers are suffering because the salary is not, things are so expensive. So God will help them to do what they should do.
The Tripartite Minimum Wage Committee has been mandated to come up with workable recommendations that will improve the wages of Nigerian workers across board as the cost of living continue to rise. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And to stories around security, bandits in Kawu, Buari Area Council of the FCT, who initially collected 8.5 million naira and released 4 out of 17 abducted victims, including a female medical nurse, are now demanding 2 brand new Bajaj motorcycles from the families to release the remaining 11 captives. The bandits invaded Kawu community on December 26, 2023, abducting 23 individuals with 17 still in captivity. Last Saturday, they threatened to harm the remaining 11 for a delay in ransom payment, despite paying 5 million naira in tranches and delivering 3.8 million naira along with food, drugs and wines on Tuesday. The bandits are insisting on the motorcycles. A family member has appealed to security agents to intervene and rescue the victims from the bandits' captivity. Suspected armed assailants attacked Katakba community in Nasarawa State, resulting in 3 fatalities and injuries to 4 others, including a soldier. The attackers, armed with sophisticated weapons, set 4 houses ablaze, including the village chief's residence. 1 soldier deployed to the community also suffered a leg injury and received treatment at Toto General Hospital before being discharged. The surviving victims, including the soldier, were referred to the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital in Gwagwalada, Abuja. The chairman of Toto local government area, Alhaji Abdullahi Aliyu Tashas, confirmed the incident. However, the spokesman of the Nasarawa State Police Command, CSP Rahman Nansel, did not respond to inquiries at the time of this report. And in a tragic incident, a yet-to-be-identified policeman lost his life in a shootout between gunmen and a police patrol team in Ebonyi State. The event unfolded on Thursday along the Ngbo-Efiom Road in Ohauku local government area, an area that has recently witnessed heightened tensions. The state police spokesperson Joshua Ukandu confirmed the incident on Friday, revealing that the armed assailants attacked the patrol team. The police officers engaged the attacker, resulting in a fatal injury to one officer, while another sustained wounds and is currently receiving medical attention. The Commissioner of Police in Ebonyi State Police Command has dispatched tactical teams of the command to the scene. The team is on the trail of the hoodlums, according to the statement. Meanwhile, calm and normalcy have been restored to the area. Despite the tragic loss, the police spokesman urged the public to provide any useful information that could aid in the arrest of the fleeing criminals, emphasizing the police command's unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and property in the state. And the Federal High Court in Abuja has upheld terrorism trial proceedings against Rivers State Governor's loyalists accused of the October 2023 Rivers Assembly attacks. Defendants, including Chime Eguma Eze Balike and Prince Lukman Oladile, had challenged the Inspector General of Police's authority to prosecute them. However, Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon dismissed their objection, stating that the Terrorism Prevention Act empowers the police to initiate charges in a competent court. The defendants, loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara, pleaded not guilty to terrorism-related charges and alleged murder. And meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Bayelsa State is set to conduct the rerun election this Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, for the Yenagua constituency for 2 seats into the Bayelsa State House of Assembly in 7 units and 4 wards. The resident electoral commissioner for the state, Oboy Fanga, who stated this during a stakeholders meeting in Yenagua, said that both the sensitive and non-sensitive materials are in the commission's possession. Friday, Ebimoboy Peter reports.
Obo Efanga said the commission is only obeying the Court of Appeal judgment that set aside the March 2023 State Assembly election that saw the candidate Abga emerged winner. According to him, the rerun election is meant to determine the actual winner.
What happened was that election was conducted in March of last year during the general elections, and a winner declared on the basis of the votes counted. But somebody went to the tribunal and eventually got to the Court of Appeal, which ordered that INEC should do a rerun election in 7 polling units. 7 polling units in that constituency, so as to effectively determine who the winner of that election is. And that is what we are planning to do. So on Saturday, we'll go and conduct election in 7 polling units. Why is this necessary? This is necessary because as of this moment, the person who originally was declared winner, whom the court has now said should step aside until this rerun is conducted, has a total of 4,971 votes. And the person that came second has a total of 4,593 votes.
State Resident Electoral Commissioner REC assured stakeholders that necessary arrangements for the peaceful conduct of the election are already in place.
The difference between the votes of these 2 candidates is 378 votes. And in these 7 polling units, they have total registered voters of 2,982. However, the total number of persons who have collected their PVCs there, who therefore are eligible to vote, is 2,828. So it means that theoretically and potentially, it is possible for 2,822 persons to vote in this rerun election, and how the votes could swing the victory in the election, because the margin of lead so far is only 378.
The rerun election will be conducted in Unit 6 Teibiri, Unit 8 Okotiama Open Space, Unit 9 Igbelepere Open Space, Unit 10 Ayamabiri Open Space, among others. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
Also, political parties participating in the February 3rd rerun elections in 2 state constituencies In Ethiopia, West and Burutu North of Delta State have signed a peace accord to be law-abiding before, during, and after the elections. The agreement was signed at the INEC office in Asaba. The new Resident Electoral Commissioner, Etekamba Udo Doren, asked the parties and candidates to ensure that their supporters do not cause trouble, as perpetrators will face the full weight of the law.
It is pertinent to remind political parties, their candidates and supporters that sections 121 to 126 of the Electoral Act 2022 amply provides for varying degrees of sanctions for all manner of political offenses, and the Commission will not hesitate to activate these provisions to prosecute offenders. Let me conclude by expressing appreciation to all stakeholders, particularly security agencies, political parties, civil society organizations, the media, and voters alike for cooperating with the Commission in previous electoral activities.
You all know the electoral laws. Place and place, we are urging you to conduct yourselves in a very good manner so that we'll have a very successful election. Just as we are signing the peace accord today, is to guarantee the INEC officials and even the voters that the election is going to go very well without any breaches.
Meanwhile, the Ondo State Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has named Kayode Ajulo, SAN, and 5 others as commissioner nominees. The names of the nominees have been sent to the House of Assembly for screening and confirmation. The governor's chief press secretary, Ebenezer Adeniyan, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists on Friday. The governor had earlier picked a former deputy clerk of the National Assembly, Olaide Adelami, as the deputy governor of the state. You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll bring a story of the fight for market share between commercial banks and the fintech companies and tell you who is winning. Then, of course, many other stories after the break. Join us again.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust TV. Now look at our top stories again. Stakeholders advocate reduced dependence on borrowing as Nigeria struggles to fund critical sectors of the economy. And local bread producers in Kano shut down operations over cost of production. Moving on to more stories now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has delivered a firm warning to civil servants, urging them to steer clear of obstruction of government initiatives with bureaucratic obstacles. The admonition came to light during the commencement ceremony of a 7.2-kilometer rural road in Chukulu, Kayama, Buari Area Council. Wike emphasized the importance of rallying support for the contractor overseeing the project. Trust TV's Habiba Ajayi reports.
In his ongoing rural road projects within Buhari Area Council, the FCT minister sustains momentum with infrastructure development, underscoring the significance of synergy between public and private sectors for comprehensive development. The chairman of Buhari Area Council extended gratitude to the minister for addressing the community's need and urged for swift completion of previously abandoned projects.
To improve safety and security lives and property, especially of promoters and in the rural area. Honorable Minister, sir, we are much impressed by your excellent track record of extraordinary achievement as public officer, and we wish to respectfully commend and encourage you to continue on this path of dedication and service to humanity.
The minister, in his remarks, reiterated the administration's commitment to enhancing security and socio-economic well-being, pledged additional infrastructure initiatives for the rural population.
In this year, each area council will be having 3 roads, which has never happened since the creation of FCT as the Federal Capital Territory. And that's why we want to change the narrative. And this will reduce the rural-urban migration. When these roads are done, other facilities or infrastructure have been provided. When you are listening or going to stay in the city, within how many minutes you leave the city and come back home?
Yesam Wike directed the contractor to deploy local content by employing community members, emphasizing the importance of catering to their needs. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, there you have it. And also, Gombe State Governor Mohammed Inuwa has urged investors and other stakeholders to take advantage of the investment opportunities that abound in the state. The governor, who stated this on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, said the state government hopes to raise 30 billion naira green bonds to advance its economy. Here's the report.
Governor Yahya encouraged investors to come and invest in Gombe State, noting that the state remains an investment destination for all, adding that it is safe and guarantees a good return on investment. Yahya, who was accorded the honor of ringing the closing gong, said the Green Bonds is an initiative aimed at raising funds to finance eco-friendly and environmentally friendly investments, especially in assets that will contribute to the restoration and upliftment of human life. Governor Yahya, who addressed investors on the boundless opportunities in Gombe during a roundtable session, said the state is committed to harnessing the capital market through green bonds to stimulate sustainable development. The governor stated that the state has been ranked #1 for 2 years in a row on ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Contribute to restoration and upliftment of human life so that we can reduce the impact of climate change and global warming. And we aim to do so that we raise funds. We are expecting to raise about 30 billion naira for the start, and we may break it into segments, but that's our intention. And we are sure with the support we saw and the acceptance that we've gotten from the floor and from the chief stakeholders, we are going to hit our target. Knowing that we came tops in order on 2 sequences, from 2022 to 2021, we came tops in terms of enabling business environment. And we are in the center of the Northeast. There is access to market, and we are relatively peaceful. In fact, the #1 state in terms of peace and cordiality in Nigeria. So we have every reason and every ground to invite investors because we give them guarantee for their security and the security on their investment and return on their investment.
The chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Umaru Kwairanga, who noted that Africa is the next growth engine of the world, said Nigeria is one of the best investment destinations globally. He encouraged other states to follow the footsteps of Gombe by taking advantage of the capital market in raising funds for development.
What you are seeing here are all partners in progress. We believe in your own vision.
NGS Group CEO Temi Kpokbola said the capital market is open to support the government as well as the private sector.
And the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oberewori, has set up a committee to investigate allegations of financial wrongdoing against the Agricultural Commissioner, who has since been suspended. The commissioner was accused of allegedly transferring 280 million naira into a private account. 3 other persons in the Agriculture Ministry, including the Permanent Secretary, the Chief Accountant, and the Director, have also been sent on compulsory leave. The governor warned that his administration will not tolerate any form of financial infractions and mismanagement from any appointee or civil servant. Governor Oberewori also swore in 3 commissioners, including that of Information, Ifeanyi Osozwa.
It's transparent, and we believe in accountability in anybody, whether a commissioner, whether a permanent secretary, whether a director. Nobody is going to have it the way it used to be. Nobody is above the law. So the committee is looking into the issue, and by the time they come out with their report, we'll take our decision. Suspension and then going on leave, compulsory leave, it is. Because this government will be fair hearing, so we need to hear from both sides and as the investigation is going on. So we're very sure that the public will know very soon.
And Governor Umar Namadi's administration in Jigawa State is prioritizing youth empowerment, training over 250 individuals in hand pump repair and assembly through the Agency of Youth Empowerment and Employment. Take a look.
Equipped with comprehensive kits, the graduates receive automatic employment in their local government, supported by Governor Namadi's commitment to providing motorcycles for enhanced mobility.
Today we are graduating 250 students who have been trained on repairs of hand pump, who are picked from across each and every ward in the local government. Now our objective is to ensure that we know that we have a good number of hand pumps across the state. And one major challenge we have is the repairs of these hand pumps. Therefore, we decided to train somebody from each ward, especially those that are hard to reach. Now, so that we train them for 3 months, and we give them a complete equipment. And in addition to that, we have asked the chairman of local government to buy a motorcycle to each and every participant, so that they will have a mobility to go to the nook and canaries of Jigawa State to ensure that all our hand pumps are working perfectly.
The initiative not only advances skill development but also addresses unemployment, exemplifying the government's dedication to community services. As the empowered youth supported by motorcycles contribute to water pump maintenance, the positive impact on both the workforce and the water supply infrastructure is expected to be substantial.
Because them connected with the local government chairman means automatically they have jobs. Because as we are speaking now, definitely there is one hand pump that is getting faulty right now, and some are going to get faulty every day. Therefore, as they go out today, they have already got the job doing, and they already earn a living, and they're already going to have a very well-being in life, and hopefully those that are not married will get married.
And with Governor Namadi's brother vision, this initiative showcases a proactive approach to youth empowerment and socio-economic development, reinforcing the commitment to uplift communities across Jigawa State.
As the World Hijab Day is commemorated across the globe, Muslim women in Nigeria are seeking an end to harassment of female Muslim women using hijab in the country. In Osun State, Muslim women vowed to resist any attempt to prevent the use of hijab by female Muslims, especially in public schools and offices. Hamid Oyegbade files a report.
The Association of Osun State Muslim Women, comprising representatives of all Muslim associations in the state, insisted that hijab is part of dressing of female Muslims as ordained by Allah. They cautioned public school teachers to desist from harassing female students for wearing hijab on their school uniform, just as they advised those using hijab to wear it with the fear of Allah.
All Muslim women are expected and should commit themselves not only to the use of hijab, but also live a gracious life to prove to the world that hijab is a symbol of humility in obedience to Allah's command. Hijab is a symbol of progress, not retrogress. It is a symbol of decency, not barbaric, and a symbol of piety, not arrogance.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordain the use of hijab for every Muslim woman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an injunction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we should cover our head, we should cover our body, in totality. We should cover our body in totality. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained us to cover our head to bosom, so that we will not be molested, we will not be relegated, we will not be relegated in the society.
Yes, it's not a barrier because we have people that have succeeded in their different fields, and they are hijab, they are using hijab. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have business women, we have lecturers, you know, we have lawyers, we have judges who are already succeeded in their different fields, and they are using hijab. Hijab does not cover their intellect, does not cover their intelligence.
The theme of this year's World Hijab Day is Filled in Strength, aimed at showcasing hijab to the world as a symbol of modesty. Amid Ojegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Nigeria has maintained a dominant position in Africa's $2.7 billion fintech market. The country currently boasts of 217 fintech companies as the world embraces technology. In this report, Chamun Dabeng queries if commercial banks are losing the market share to fintech startups. Take a look.
Financial technology has played a major role in easing a large portion of banking stress from Nigerians by addressing some of the failures of conventional commercial banking. Some of these failures have to do with inclusion, fraud, as well as failed transactions. Today, Nigerians can save, convert, and invest their money as well as perform other transactions from the comfort of their homes. Though more Nigerians are migrating towards the world of fintech, have they fully embraced it?
Because the regular there is a place you can trace their offices to, but I'm not aware of any offices for OP, Momo, and the rest of them. So I prefer to put my money where I can always go to. If I have complaints, I can always see them physically and we discuss.
I prefer regular banking. Reason being that if there's any issue, you can always walk into the bank and get it corrected.
I think I would like to go for the OP and the remaining. Those are more faster and they're reliable, I think, compared to the other commercial banks. They delay time, and then the times when using some of the online banking system and things, they delay so much time and the network is always a problem.
Some have argued that despite the fact that more Nigerians are embracing the ease that comes with fintechs, conventional banking will remain unmoved as it provides more of a visible structure. However, financial analyst Aliyu Ilya has a different take on the matter. According to him, the fast-paced growth of fintechs within the country may mean that conventional commercial banks could become a thing of the past.
Beyond Nigeria, fintech is taking over in terms of the commercial bank because they also not only serving those big companies, they also provide facilities for small, medium scale, and they also penetrate more. If you look at Nigerian banks, if you look at Nigerian banks now, penetration and them, their existence in those local area is beginning to have issues.
Trust is a strong factor influencing the decision of Nigerians. Failed or delayed transactions, poor network, and several other factors have swayed Nigerians towards fintechs. But there are questions about the capacity of fintechs to guarantee the safety of their customers' deposits.
So that you have forward office or you have structure does not mean your service is better than the fintech. When you talk about being safe, I believe there is no fintech that exists without a license from CBN, and I believe all of them are also in NDIC. So I think they have the same shock absorber and they have the same approval.
Nigeria's fintech sector has raised about $1.5 billion in funding, making up more than 1/3 of the $2.7 billion that has been invested in fintech in Africa since July of 2021. Nigeria also accounts for 32% of Africa's 678 fintech firms, placing itself as first in Africa's fintech race. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. After the break, we'll be joining Yusuf Akogu, who's standing by with business news. Join us again.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Are you drawing any lesson as what went wrong? Why is it that we can't maintain those kind of ventures for a long time?
I think a lot of lessons have been learned from that, and that has also informed our decision of ensuring that we bring modern techniques into the whole thing. We are not one of the richest, but in terms of development, we are catching up with the developed states in the country. And I want to ensure by end of 8 years, if we are not one of the 2 best, we should be ranked among the 5 best states in the country in terms of turnaround development in our state.
I'm talking nationally. Yes. Members of your party are working at cross variance. You have Wike, who is still in the PDP, taking up post in an APC government.
If you are talking about Wike in PDP taking an appointment with APC government, I think it has not started with Wike. This started since the coming of this democracy in 1999. A lot of APP, ANPP, CPC members in the past have taken appointment in the government that invited them to come and serve, because I think at the moment we're not talking about election, we are talking about governance and national unity.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The Central Bank of Nigeria has established a minimum operating capital requirement for international money transfer operators (IMTOs) at $1 million for foreign entities and an equivalent amount for local IMTOs. This development was outlined in the revised guidelines for the operations of IMTOs, officially released on January 31, 2024. According to the guidelines, applicants must adhere to the CBN anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, and countering proliferation financing of weapons of mass destruction regulations. IMTOs intending to operate in Nigeria are required to submit their application to the Director of Trade and Exchange Department along with various documentation. This includes a non-refundable application fee of 10 million naira only, or an amount specified by the bank. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, say 81% of Nigerians are not contributing to any productive sector of the economy. Speaking at a summit in Lagos, Oyedele said this number of people are doing nothing that add value to the economy. Oyedele noted that Nigeria, which has the same unemployment rate as the United Kingdom, still has over 130 million people living in multidimensional poverty. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria unemployment rate stands at 4.2% in the second quarter of 2023. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is collaborating with the Association of Mobile Money and Banking Agents of Nigeria and the Nigeria Electronic Fraud Forum to implement new feature on point-of-sales transactions terminals. According to a recent report by the Financial Institutions Training Center on Fraud and Forgeries in Nigeria Banks, Nigeria Bank recorded a staggering 78,584 fraud cases within a year. Also, between second quarter of 2022 and second quarter of 2023, Nigeria lost 1.95 billion to POS fraud. Citizens across Nigeria are concerned over the rising cost of essential food commodities. Let's see how prices of food commodities look like today. Not provide lasting solution to the currency crisis in Nigeria. Let's see how Naira trades. Now to NJX now. Equities market closed in green on Friday following investors' positive sentiment as many bellwethers record gains. Let's see how it went down today. Of course, quite a whole lot of positive performance we see today from the market. The Transcorp recording a huge 10% there at the close of market there to close at 15 naira and 40 kobo per share. Sterling Bank also not doing so badly. 10% of trade. You have 943.508 million value at 23.475 billion naira, and the deals today 11,512 as well. And of course, in terms of the top trading equities, we have the like of First Bank of Nigeria PLC, 338.84 million volume of shares. Of course, the market is indeed responding to the appointment of Femi Otedola as the new board chairman of FBNE, that is First Bank of Nigeria PLC. That has, drive a positive investor sentiment to actually look the way of that stock, and of course, it's doing so well as at now. JITCO also doing 80.605 million shares as well. That is Guaranteed Trust Bank PLC, and of course, Transcorp, another very good performance again for that stock on the trading floor today. 54 0.983 million shares it traded on the day. Of course, usually we have some losing equities. Some of them we have today are not some of the well-known big cap stocks. Let's use the word. Morrison down 9.76% there to close at 3 naira and 5 kobo. Of course, NEM Insurance from the insurance subsector of the market, we call them penny stock, is down 9.15%. And of course, Deep Cap also down 8.22%. Deep Cap has been in a negative territory for a very long time. That's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down on the trading floor this Friday, the last trading day of the week. Well, and that's business. I am Yusuf Akogo.
Thanks to Yusuf for business. And on the international scene, as Israel-Palestine conflict persists, the United Nations Children Agency, UNICEF, estimates that approximately 17,000 children in Gaza Strip have been left unaccompanied or separated from their families after nearly 4 months of Israel's assault on the enclave. UNICEF disclosed on Friday that nearly all children in the Strip are in need of mental health support, highlighting the severe impact of the ongoing conflict on the young population. Jonathan Cricks, UNICEF's chief of communication for the occupied Palestinian territories, expressed the heartbreaking reality for each child, emphasizing that the 17,000 figure corresponds to 1% of the overall displaced population in Gaza, which is around 1.7 million people. Tracing unaccompanied children proves extremely difficult under current conditions, as they often arrive at hospitals wounded or in shock and may be unable to provide their names. Cricks explained that extended families usually relied upon to care for children who lost their parents during conflicts are facing challenges in Gaza due to the lack of essential resources. The distress of extended families struggling with the scarcity of food, water and shelter makes it difficult for them to immediately care for additional children. And violence erupted between rival cattle herder groups in South Sudan, resulting in 39 deaths and dozens of injuries, according to government officials. The clashes on Wednesday left 19 dead and 17 injured among herders from northwest Warrap, while neighboring Lake State reported 20 killed, 36 wounded and 1 missing person. These clashes, an annual occurrence, arise as cattle herding communities from the two states vie for resources during dry season. Although the government dispatched committees to ease tensions and protect civilians, minor clashes persist in inaccessible swampy areas. South Sudan, despite substantial oil reserves, continues to grapple with persistent conflict, natural disasters, economic challenges, and communal violence. A recent dispute between rival communities in a contested region claimed 54 lives, including 2 UN peacekeepers. Let's now join Emmanuel Fashemi for sports news.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated the Palancas Negras of Angola 1-0 at the Stade Félix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan to go to the 2023 semi-final in Côte d'Ivoire. With help from Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman scored the game's lone goal after 41 minutes to seal the Super Eagles' triumph. Nigeria will play the winner between the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde and Bafana Bafana of South Africa in the semi-final. On Saturday, there will be 2 intriguing matches to determine the other semi-finalists. Cape Verde fights South Africa, while Mali plays the host nation, Côte d'Ivoire. In the meantime, Sili National of Guinea is being entertained by DR Congo in the second quarter-final match. Nigeria's Flamingos departed the country on Thursday to play Central African Republic in Douala, Cameroon, ahead of the opening leg of their Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier. In the most recent World Cup, the Nigerian team led by coach Bankole Olowokere performed very well. The Central African Republic squad and the Nigerian team were matched for the qualifier, with the first leg taking place outside of the country. The match has been set for Douala, Cameroon, with the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja hosting the rematch. And that is it on sports. I am Emmanuel Fashemi.
And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do also follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Have a good night.